Okay, printing can seem like a bit of an arcane art, so this is a quick demo of how to set up a Lightroom template to print to an online print service. I'm going to use obviously a particular example here, but you should be able to easily see what would need to be changed if you want to do things differently. Okay, so the print service I'm going to use just to demonstrate this is DS Color Labs, because that's the one I've been using myself for a little while now. So we'll hoot off to the website here, and on the website I know where to go and look to find the color profile that we need for the paper I'm going to be using. So here we go. We want to set up a profile for color luster. We download the file, click on the file, and it's now installed into Windows so that Lightroom can easily find it. Just while we're here, there's a setting down here that we'll also be checking later on, that we've got perceptual set in one of the print settings, and I'll show you where that is in just a minute. Right, off to Lightroom. We'll go off to the print module, and we'll start by setting up some of the basic output things. We've got to be set to print to JPEG file here first, 300 dpi, and these are just the settings that I'm using for this particular type of paper. Now the important part down here is also custom file dimensions. I'm going to set this up for a 16:12 print, which I use for Camera Club competition prints, and even for prints I'm going to use for myself at home. Nice big size and not too expensive. If you've only just installed the print profile, you'll need to click the other button there and go off and find in this list the profile that you've just downloaded. So make sure it's checked here, and then back in the drop down you can select this as the profile to use. And here's the perceptual setting that we found we needed to set earlier, so that's already there. Okay, we'll just run through some of the other settings, make sure that everything is the way we want it. We'll want rotate to fit and not zoom to fill, but we'll come back to that in a minute, and I'll show you why we're going to do that. In the layout, we want borderless prints, so I'm going to wind all these settings back to 0. And also make the cell size match the paper size. That way we will get borderless prints with just a white margin when the photo's aspect ratio isn't the same as the paper. I can just go back here and demonstrate the reason why you actually want to use zoom to fill turned off. If you use zoom to fill, it will make sure you've got no white borders, but the result of that is it also crops the photo in the other dimension. So generally speaking, you'll want zoom to fill turned off, and then you can easily crop out the bits of the photo you don't want to see while still having all of the bits of the photo you do want to see, so you can trim them off or mask them when you mount the photo. Now we'll right click on the template and stick in a new user template for 16:12 luster paper, and now we're all ready to go and we can print to file. However, before we do that, we'll just flip back to the develop module so we can have a look with a little bit of care on a color calibrated monitor. We can get things set up so that what you see on the screen is what you get on the paper. Now obviously paper is reflective and screens are emissive, so it tends to look just a little bit soft, but in fact you very quickly adjust for that when you're actually looking at the print. But set up like this, I can get prints back that match exactly what I'm seeing on the screen. If I stick the print in a light box beside the monitor, it just looks the same, which is a really nice place to be when you're trying to make sure that you've got dark areas without the detail actually disappearing into nothing. Now I do find that I have to set, in order to get the print file right, I have to tweak the shadows. So what I do is I get it all the way I want it, then I set the shadows to +40, print the file, and then we can go back to the develop module and take out the shadow boost. Doing it this way is how I get back exactly what it is that I've seen on the screen before I sent the file off. I did try using the brightness and contrast settings in the print module, but that was not really going to work. I did send off a little batch of test prints to try out a few settings to get to the right answer. Now, here's the file that we've generated, and we can have a look down and we can see that it's got the right number of pixels, 48K by 32K for a 16 by 12 print, so that's good. And I have a little utility lurking over here that will actually print out the EXIF data, and we can see that we've actually got the right print profile, the right profile embedded in the file. So this file is now all good to go and ready to